Hey Juicers, welcome back to Harley's Throttle Juice, and welcome specifically back to the Q&A series where we sit down with Kev from Central Coast Harley Davidson, which is exactly where we're filming from today on a miserable day on the Central Coast of New South Wales, Kev. For those of you who are joining this series for the first time, this is a series where you, the viewers, get to pose questions to myself, and then we come in here and film and get an actual Harley Davidson dealer to go through and give you the responses or the answers from his perspective. So it's all about you guys having an opportunity to ask dealers questions that you feel you may not have, you don't have the opportunity to ask your current dealer, or something you've always wanted to ask and get a genuine response from a genuine dealer. So it's a great opportunity. So I urge you guys to contact me privately or even in the comments field of this video, send your questions in. This one today, Kev, is going to have a bit of an MY23/anniversary feel about it, which is appropriate because one of the questions we got, and we'll kick it off right now, a question we got from Michael is, do you have any idea of what the anniversary colours are going to be? Now, obviously, we got this question a few weeks ago, before the launch, but do you have any idea what the anniversary colours are going to be? Well, we all do now, of course, because the official launch has taken place. So we're going to assume that you've all seen them. But what that can do is help us to gravitate through to a few other questions that we received regarding that. One of which is, do you have any idea of what the anniversary CVO Street Glide will look like if we're to assume that it is different to the Road Glide version?
Okay, so the anniversary is not a CVO Street Glide.
Beg your pardon? Yeah.
So the Street Glide anniversary and the Road Glide anniversary are fantastic looking motorcycles.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the Moha Red is just beautiful with the gold accents. It's just going to be a stunning motorcycle.
Yeah.
The CVOs, we have only been released one so far, and that's the CVO Road Glide Limited. We're not sure if there's going to be additional bikes later in the year, but currently that's what we have. But the anniversaries are very much hot topic at the moment.
Yeah, right. And an interesting point you just said there, you're not sure whether there's going to be any release later on in the year. Well, per the last launch, I think there was a bit of a tease going on with Harley, and then what we subsequently saw is there were several releases later on. So I'm quite sure that between now and the end of the year, new models will be released. And you know what? A lot of people might bag Harley and think, oh, well, what sort of games are you playing? Just release them all now. Well, it's all about marketing and sales and how to grab people's attention, and that's business.
Yeah. And I think the colours in the CVOs, what we saw in 22 was just unbelievably good. And then we had the Envious Green with the flames, which had a fantastic transition. We had the Blue Steel, which was my favourite, with the black chrome.
Mine too.
Just really, really polarising. And now we move into the anniversaries. My God, they're good. You know, really good.
Knocked it out of the park, absolutely. A very, very interesting and perhaps topical question, Kev. What are your thoughts on the MY23 range? That would be the standard range, not the anniversary, in terms of colours and performance in comparison to the MY22 range?
Okay, well, basically they're the same motorcycles. There's some enhancements with colours, as some have dropped out, some are new, but really it's the same bike. The new Breakout is really different. So we moved to the Breakout with a 117 motor, a different tank, and it's quite striking. But if you look at the rest of the range, it's pretty similar. Which ensures that the 22 it represents great value. So the 23 models have gone up significantly in price, as most things are in the world. And the 22's being the same bike, a great value.
I think that's a great point. I think a lot of potential buyers will look at it that way. If they take long enough to do their research, come in here and talk to you guys, I think you're right, the MY22 range, and there's still a lot of them about, represent real good value.
Great value, especially in the touring range. The new model 23 range, so if you want a blacked out tourer as opposed to a chrome tourer, there's now a charge for that where there wasn't. And the paint charges for anything other than black is a lot more. So again, you know, the basic bikes are great value, but when you add up, if you want the black trim and a colour, the value proposition is even greater.
And they may or may not have practical reasons why they're doing it that way. But irrespective of that, I think if you come into dealerships like this one and check out what's still available in the MY22 range, it's going to represent real value. And from my perspective, the colour choice, you've already said basically the same bike. Then it becomes about aesthetics. I think the MY22 range, the standard colours, are much better than the 23 range.
Yeah.
Yeah?
There are certain colours I like in the 22 range that I probably wouldn't take in the 23 range.
Yeah.
You know, that grey is just beautiful.
Yeah.
I do like that grey.
Absolutely.
And again, the value is there.
Yeah.
If we go back to the anniversary bikes
Yeah.
for a sec, sorry guys,
Yeah.
I think they're basically all gone.
Well, that was funny you should say that, because the next question that we received was any pre-orders for the anniversary or standard MY23 range. Already gone.
Gone.
Wow.
I haven't seen anything official. So what people need to understand is we have clients have standing orders for a new bike every year.
Yeah.
And we would have 15 to 20 of those people. Whatever's new, put my name down, I want. When we factor in, we've been talking about the 120th anniversary for the last 12 months. We know it's coming.
And just on that, people have these standing orders and just saying, I don't care if it won't be here for whatever it is. That's huge,
whatever it
isn't
is,
it?
whatever the price,
Yeah.
I want it. So when people ring up or try and order a bike, once it's released, you're really behind the game.
Yes.
Because of those people that have their standing orders.
Yeah. But that happens even with standard with CVOs, etc. that aren't an anniversary model.
Yeah.
But even more so with an anniversary model. That's huge, and that's a testimony to the brand. People know what they're on. People know what they want to be on. But for people to organise a pre-order that far out with no idea of what the bike's going to look like, they know how it's going to feel. They know how it's going to perform. They're going to feel great on it. But to not know what the colour scheme is,
or the price, or
the price.
Yeah. So so it's people with standing orders, people building collections, people that have multiple Harleys,
there you go. Yeah.
people that are very affluent and they just want whatever's new.
Yeah.
On top of that, there might be people like you or I that my bike is due for replacement in 2024. I know there's going to be something big in 2023 for the anniversaries. I'll wait, I'll bring it forward or whatever it is.
Gee, that rings a bell.
They're hot to go.
Yeah.
You know, so, which is a shame, but that adds to the exclusivity and it maintains the value for the people that buy anniversary bikes or limited edition bikes.
So, for instance, with an anniversary bike, right, a certain amount gets shipped to Australia. I mean, do you have any idea what that number is? So, because for you guys to say already sold out, well, then there must be some other dealerships that say already taken pre-orders.
Yep.
So how many would you have pre-orders for?
Okay, so we've got 14 to 15 pre-orders and we're getting phone calls all day now.
That'll be behind the eight ball.
People trying to order a bike.
Yeah.
Harley gave us some numbers on the numbers that were coming to Australia.
Yeah.
I think there were 60 Fat Boys. When you factor in there's 58 dealers, not every dealer is going to get a bike.
Wow, yeah.
You know, and then I think there were 15 of the Ultras. The numbers aren't big.
So if they're making that many bikes and then you've only got so many dealers, is it amongst yourselves and the dealers, is it literally a first in?
Yes.
Wow.
So the order window opened at 10 a.m. yesterday. So the bikes were released to us at 3 a.m. in the US. We got updates at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So the staff and I were in the dealership at 6 a.m. yesterday.
Wow.
When that was announced at 7, we were calling our customers. But we pre-warned them, hey, just want to let you know, we'll be ringing you. That's the time you need to confirm you're in, or this is the price, this is the colour. And no one knocked them back. Every one of our customers took them.
Yeah.
Now, every one of our customers is not necessarily going to get a bike.
Yeah.
Currently, the order is in the system, and then Harley Davidson will go through the numbers, see who got in first, and then contact each customer to verify they are waiting for that bike.
Right. Gotcha.
So it's really limited.
Yeah.
It's such a shame, but anyone new to Harley is probably not going to understand that. But people that have been around the brand for a while will go, and it's pre-planning. So if you are looking at something for next year and you want one of the special icon bikes, talk to your dealer, whether it be us or your dealer, and put your name down. and start that process.
I've seen that many times. I've walked in Kev's office 1,000 times, and immediately on the right-hand side there's a huge whiteboard, and it's just littered with pre-orders and or inquiries. And often I've been in there and I've said to Kev, what are all these for? He goes, oh, they're for next year. And I'll say, oh, but it's only this month. He goes, that's how early. And it's all the people that have been in the Harley game and they know how it works. They talk to the guys in here often enough to know that, no, I need to let Kev know now that I'm interested in this thing in 18 months' time or 14 months' time or whatever it is. And that's how you got to play the game.
Yep.
If you really badly want it. And as I said, as Kev said, if you leave it too late, you run the risk of being on a reserves list. Yeah.
Even today, you were a witness. We had an inquiry for a Diablo.
Yes.
Someone's rung in 7 months later trying to find a bike.
The Apex?
No, the Diablo.
Oh, was the ST? Yeah.
So, unfortunately, there are people always looking for those icon bikes. And again, they just don't last.
And if you really badly want one, then you're just crossing your fingers, and it might take you, it may never happen, it might take years before one pops up at another dealership.
Can we plan ahead? Let me tell you, viewers, there's another anniversary probably coming at 125. So in 5 years, if you miss now, you might want to be planning in 4 years' time to put your order in.
There you go. So unless you're my age and you maybe potentially only got one bike purchase left. Just on that, I've been watching some YouTube channels, American YouTube channels, and two of which were bagging the fact that Harley have these anniversary type celebrations every 5 years. Why are you doing it every 5 years? Why not every 25? Just back off with your negative shit. All right? It's a marketing and sales game, and they need to sell bikes, and guess what? The demand is there for Harleys. Go figure.
And it's important, exactly what you said a minute ago. There are some people who are getting older in their age.
Yeah.
And the next couple of years might be the end of their riding season.
Yep.
And so if we did that every 25 years, they would miss that opportunity to catch up with old friends.
Very good point.
And to be part of a big group. So to do it every 5 years, I think is fantastic. It gives you, again, planning. So we know the anniversary is coming in 2023. Book your holidays.
I think...
Book your trip to the US. You know, be part of it. Plan ahead, be ahead of the game.
Well, 5 years isn't... in terms of all that planning that you're talking about, 5 years isn't a huge window, but it's just long enough to say, all right, well, I have my current bike. Even if you bought it brand new, well, 5 years later, you may be at the end of your loan, you might have a couple of years left, but most of the time, you're thinking about a new bike already.
Yep.
So plan ahead, absolutely. I mean, I'm doing it right now, thinking about the Street Glide Special in the heirloom red. My God, I'm falling in love with it. I'll be 58 years of age by the time that thing is physically in the dealership. My decision right now is that going to be my last bike purchase? Because I won't be purchasing another one after that, mate, because I'll be retiring. Just on that, excuse me, another question I got was, with the Street Glide, well, with the Special, the anniversary range, is it basically replicating the El Diablo in the Lowrider ST, or is it a deeper, richer red?
It's definitely a deeper, richer red.
It's deeper. Yeah. Okay. Because I fell in love with the ST when I saw it in here, and I thought, my God, if it was the same, I thought that's great. But I think if it's deeper and the contrast against those bronze ST wheels, I said to you half an hour ago, or before we started filming this today, if you look at the colour scheme and the accents on the Derby cover and the primary, etc., on that anniversary colour, it looks like a CVO.
It's unbelievably good.
It's a $48,000 CVO.
And the value...
minus the central locking and all that. But
the value proposition is just crazy. Oh, no, it is a custom colour.
Custom colour, full-on colour, like striking blow your way colour.
Yeah, it would have cost you to $28.95 2 years ago for a custom colour.
Yep.
And that wouldn't make an anniversary.
Yep.
And it wouldn't have got you those accents.
Yep,
the
correct.
Anniversary models, as they always are, represent amazing value.
Yep.
If we go back to the anniversary Fat Boy that came out with the black and gold, they sold out in minutes as well.
Yeah.
And they are going for crazy money now. Sorry, it shouldn't be crazy money. They're realistic value, because that bike was an amazing motorcycle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's ripper value. And I think in 12 months, we're going to look back and say that anniversary in 2023 was an amazingly good bike.
I think you're right. The anticipation has been very, very high. It's been very, very exciting, and I think they nailed it. A lot of people out there have some negative vibes about what Harley are doing and whatnot. I'm a Harley fanboy, go figure, whatever, I don't care, but I think they've nailed it. And the fact, hey, as I said, Kev's whiteboard is loaded with pre-orders. Can't take any more, right? No more pre-orders. What does that tell you? Anyway, we might wrap up this episode because this has primarily been about the new 23 range, whether it be the standard range.
Did you want to talk about the Road King?
Oh, you want to throw that one in now? Okay, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we'll throw that in right now to finish it off.
This came about from a question this morning when we were having our coffee.
Yeah, so this isn't about necessarily about the... Well, it is about the MY23 range in terms of the US, but the question came in, what are your thoughts on the omission so far, or the apparent omission of the Road King Classic in the US?
Well, we haven't had that bike for a while now.
2020 was the last
so
in
it
Australia?
dropped off. It transitioned to the Road King Special, which became more of a younger man's dynamic look.
Not a Road King Danny, Road King Special.
Yeah. So the Road King is a fantastic motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's a transitional bike, I would say, in the way I view it. If you are not ready for the look of a fared bike and you want a traditional fat boy type Harley look, the Road King is that middle ground in between a tourer and a fat boy.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are now looking at the value proposition of the street glide and the road glide. And it's starting to change a little bit in regards to the functionality people want.
Yeah.
So in the past, people were really focused on the performance and the handling and the way the bike rode and what it did for them. That's still a big factor. We are now starting to field questions in regards to the connectivity of the bike to the modern world. Does it do Android? Does it do Apple CarPlay? Can I get my text messages? Can I take phone calls?
So just on that, can I interrupt just for a second?
Sure.
So in terms of the demographic, right, because the demographic really does determine certain bike sales to a degree. So are those inquiries about modern capabilities such as connectivity and whatnot, are they coming from a new breed of Harley riders, or do you have the older riders that have maybe ridden a Road King standard, which became the classic with the M8s, and now they're starting to think, I'm starting to connect with the modern world now. I need to maybe think about jumping on a proper bagger.
Great question. It's a real mix.
Yeah.
I think it's coming from people that have this connectivity in their cars.
Yeah.
So when they're used to that connectivity where they can have ways to see what cameras are going on in the world, I think that's what's driving that, if that makes sense.
No, it's a perfect point, because these people that are making those inquiries, they're not people that are driving around in a 67 model HR.
Correct.
They should be driving HRs, but you know what I mean? So you're right. So they're driving a relatively modern car with all of that. Why wouldn't they want to extend that to the bike?
Yep.
Very interesting.
So they don't necessarily want to miss out or expose themselves. I think it's the speeding camera finds that are driving a lot of this, where they can use their apps to track where the cameras are. I think that's a big part of it. But a lot of people are now choosing to ride with their partners, but they still want to have connection with their families and friends and take phone calls.
So in Australia, we haven't had the Road King Classic since 2020, but even leading up to 2020, were you guys seeing that people, old Road King standard/classic riders, were coming in and starting to talk to you about street glides and road glides?
Yeah, I think it really started, if we go back to Milwaukee 8.
Yeah.
So if we went pre-Milwaukee 8 twin cam, so the Road King was it always is the best handling touring motorcycle. Mm-hmm. But there were significant suspension changes that came with the Milwaukee 8 and the Milwaukee 8 frame in the engine.
Yeah.
And every year they've upgraded that. So now you've got emulsionary shocks, dual valve bending front forks. So the handling gap that existed between the Road King and the other tourers was quite large.
Right.
It's no longer that.
No.
And when you then put Wilbur's suspension or Legends or the Screaming Eagle Islands, that proposition is just null and void. So then people are now migrating to the full fare bikes because they don't compromise their handling, but they gain so much more.
Sure.
So the numbers were dropping off in the Road King sales.
Right.
You will always have that element where people just love it and that's what they want.
Yeah.
And they are a great motorcycle.
Yeah.
But we are seeing people that do not want to lose the connectivity.
So do you think that led Harley, at least Harley Australia, to make the decision to stop supplying it in 2020? After
I think
2020?
sales reflected that. I think sales reflected that because when they brought out the black chrome, the black options on the Road Kings and the Tourers, it really had a transition change from the classic to the special. Yeah. Because then you got the drop bags and a whole lot of other stuff. So it really modernised
the performance bag thing took off. Okay. Very interesting. So thanks for your insights again. This will kill off today's episode. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned. More episodes to come in relation to your questions. We'll dive right deeply into the questions that you guys have submitted, apart from the ones that we've read out today. Many episodes to come. Kev from Central Coast Harley Davidson, thanks again for your valued time as always. Roger from Harley Throttle Juice signing out. Peace. Bye.
See you guys.